I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, October 27th. Quite an active weather pattern across much of the nation. We have a strong storm system just off of southern New England, pounding away with some very high wind gusts, hurricane force wind gusts across southern and eastern part of New England. It will slowly pull away from the coastal sections today, although the winds will continue all the way in the mid-Atlantic region throughout much of the day. They'll die down tonight, and then attention turns to the next storm system for the mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. That arrives on Friday, and it too will bring some significant rainfall and wind to that part of the nation. For later today, another active weather area across the nation over the deep south, and the energy that was associated with the West Coast storm from a few days ago will create a severe weather outbreak later today across the deep south, and then that will in turn help to spawn an east coastal storm at the end of the week. So a lot to talk about this morning. Let's start off with a look here just a couple of hours ago of actual wind gusts associated with this nor'easter. This is the position right here of the nor'easter as of a couple hours ago, and is actually starting to undergo kind of a loop. It'll loop back down around like this before it finally pulls away later in the day. But look at some of these wind gusts here. This is in miles per hour, not knots, miles per hour. Almost 70 miles per hour recorded eastern part of Massachusetts, Cape Cod, Rhode Island, eastern part of Long Island, being hit hard by this particular storm. Strong gusts up and down the coast of New England, and even windy conditions remaining back all the way into the mid-Atlantic region. So a very significant storm. Certainly some power outages have taken place with this, and some damage with, again, wind gusts up to near 70 miles per hour as of a couple hours ago. This particular map from weathermodels.com. Well, let's take a look at the imagery loop. This is a colorized infrared imagery loop from the College of DuPage weather website. Two areas of interest here I want to emphasize. First of all, here's the circulation associated with that nor'easter, and you can kind of see it's backtracking now, moving to the south and west. Again, the surface low pressure areas taking a loop back around towards Long Island before it'll finally exit off to the north and east later in the day. Very powerful winds continue at this hour across the eastern New England, especially eastern Massachusetts. Places like really from Boston to Cape Cod are getting hit hard this morning with some strong winds, and still some gusts up to 30 miles per hour or so back into the D.C., Philadelphia corridor. Meanwhile, out in the middle of the nation, look at this moisture pouring northward from the deep south all the way into the northern plains, and this is an area to watch later today for the possibility of some severe weather. And we'll take a look at that energy field aloft that becomes negatively tilted, and it enhances the upward motion in this particular region. So watch out for severe weather later today. This is in fact an outlook from NOAA's Storm Prediction Center. They're based out in Norman, Oklahoma. The probability of severe weather later today into tonight, and they actually have an enhanced risk way down across the deep south in the southern part of Louisiana. But this is the area that's under the gun today for the potential of severe weather. Meanwhile, off to the north and east, a coastal low will loop around and then pull away from the coast. But this is the area to watch in terms of severe thunderstorms, even some isolated tornadoes, a threat with a lot of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. Well, here is how it looks this morning in terms of 500 millibar height anomalies from last night's 6Z run of the GFS model. One deep upper level low associated with the nor'easter off of southern New England. And here is the upper level low that was associated with that West Coast storm that pounded Washington, Oregon, California in the Sunday to Monday time period. It is now crossing over the Rocky Mountains and pushing into the south, the deep south. And talk about the tilt of the trough axis in the upper part of the atmosphere. When it takes on what we call a negative tilt right here, and that's when it's oriented from the northwest to the southeast, that really produces some enhanced upward motion on the eastern flank of that particular storm. And this is the region that I fear can certainly suffer the consequences of that today, with very strong upward motion and the possibility of some severe weather, including isolated tornadoes. But this is, again, that same upper level system that was associated with the West Coast storm Sunday, Monday, causing a severe weather outbreak today. And then it slides eastward, remains intact here by the time we go into Friday afternoon, a deep upper level low situated over the Tennessee Valley. And indeed, there will be a strong surface storm right in this region right here. Looks like another windy, rainy type of storm system on Friday in the Mid-Atlantic region into Friday night, and that will exist in the northeastern part of the nation as well. That could very well set up a time period with some strong southeasterly winds on Friday, buffeting places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, pushing in moisture as well. So again, a storm is coming for Friday for the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., and it too will include some strong wind gusts. And let's move forward here. That kind of takes its time moving on through, and Saturday remains unsettled in the Mid-Atlantic region. Certainly will be a lot of clouds around and some residual showers. Still remains quite cool as well. By Sunday, Halloween Day, a little bit better. Should be some improvement on Sunday, Halloween Day in the Mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. as this system tends to weaken, and then upstream there's a cold shot that arrives into the northern plains at the end of the weekend. Well, let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from last night's 6Z GFS model run. Here's the storm system off of southern New England. Again, it kind of loops around and pushes on out to the north and east later today. Winds very strong at this hour across eastern New England, southern New England, Long Island, Rhode Island, eastern Massachusetts, just getting pounded by nearly hurricane force winds, and even up to 30 miles per hour or so, gusting all the way down to D.C. and Philadelphia. Meanwhile, out in the southeastern part of the nation, the deep south, we have a combination of moist air flowing in from the south to the north, from the Gulf of Mexico into the south central part of the country. And again, we have that strong upper level feature. This is setting us up for the potential of severe weather outbreak right in this particular region later today into early tonight. Let's now move forward here. Here we go, and kind of a rapid development of some heavy rain down across eastern Texas, Louisiana. Meanwhile, strong winds continue at midday, early afternoon across eastern New England as that storm system finally begins to turn to the east and pulls away after a loop back towards Long Island over the next couple of hours. But here's the area to watch later on today into tonight for severe weather possibility. And then that same storm system that pounded Washington, Oregon, California Sunday into Monday and causes a severe weather outbreak today in the deep south moves into the eastern U.S., the Tennessee Valley, the eastern U.S. by later tomorrow into the day on Friday. And here we go, by Friday, we could have a very strong fetch of air out of the southeast. Strong wind gusts, bringing in a lot of moisture on Friday. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, ahead of likely an intensifying storm system. This is a little different track than yesterday's storm, which was offshore. This is an inland type of storm system here. Nonetheless, the same kind of result, a lot of rain and wind for the Mid-Atlantic region, for the northeast U.S., even a chilly high up to the north and east. If this were a month or two from now, could be dealing with some snow in parts of the northeastern nation, but too warm for that right now. But here we go. The threat exists certainly for some heavy rain on Friday into Friday night, and on top of what fell yesterday and last night, could result in some flash flooding. We'll have to watch for that on Friday. If this thing really gets its act together with more heavy rainfall on Friday night, don't be surprised if flash flood watches go back up again to end the work week in the Mid-Atlantic region. And it's kind of that upper level feature just sticks around on Saturday. So Saturday, no doubt, an unsettled day with lots of clouds, cool conditions, still kind of breezy, and certainly the continuation of some shower activity in the Mid-Atlantic region, in the Northeast U.S. Again, things tend to settle down. Certainly some improvement on Sunday, Halloween Day. Cannot rule out a shower or two. And then upstream, we'll be monitoring this cold shot that arrives in the northern plains by the end of the upcoming week. And the cold front associated with that cold air mass arrives in the eastern U.S. later Tuesday night time frame. Just exactly how far to the south and east that frontal system goes is still in question, but it's something we'll monitor over the next few days. So a very active weather pattern continues with excessive wind gusts for the next several hours across southern and eastern New England. And then the next storm for the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S., arrives on Friday with a lot of rain and wind. Meanwhile, later today into tonight, watch out for a severe weather outbreak across the deep south, primarily focused on places like eastern Texas, Louisiana, even into Arkansas and Mississippi and Alabama. That's it for now. This has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.